for news on Luntha television with me, Charity Shilanga. First, let's have a look at the top stories. Pope Leo XIV urges communicators to use technology in service of truth and the common good. Parliament approves a 130 million United States dollars grant projects to boost exports and service delivery. Malawi Economic Justice Network urges government to move beyond the policy formulation and focus on effective implementation to accelerate economic recovery. And in news from across the borders, Uganda declared officially Ebola-free 42 days after last patient discharge. We have the details to these and many other stories. Stay tuned. To ensure that technological advancements, particularly artificial intelligence, are used in the service of truth and the common good, while always safeguarding the dignity of the human person. In a message sent to participants at the 7th International Seminar on Church Communications in Santiago, Chile, the Holy Father encouraged the Church to embrace new technologies with wisdom and responsibility, ensuring they foster, encounter, and support the proclamation of the gospel. We have a Vatican News report read in our studios by Tandere Mzumara.
Pope Leo XIV called on communicators to embrace technological innovation in ways that protect human dignity and promote the common good. Addressing participants through a message signed by Cardinal Secretary of State Pietro Parolin, the Pope encouraged the Church to respond to the challenges of artificial intelligence with wisdom and responsibility. He prayed that ecclesial communication would foster encounter among people and contribute to the proclamation of the gospel. Opening the seminar, Cardinal Fernando Natalio Chomali Garib said communication should be guided by truth, goodness, beauty, and usefulness, stressing that Pope Leo's encyclical Magnificat Humanitas is centered on human dignity and truth. He added that communication rooted in these values promotes dialogue and fraternity, helping to build Jerusalem. Archbishop Rene Osvaldo Reboledo Salinas also reaffirmed that the dignity of every human person must remain the guiding principle for technological development and scientific progress.
Parliament has approved 2 grant-funded projects worth 130 million United States dollars, which is about 228 billion kwacha, aimed at boosting Malawi's export sector and strengthening service delivery through the reformed Constituency Development Fund (CDF). Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization Joseph Mwanamveka tabled the 2 bills in Parliament, seeking approval for 50 million United States dollar in grant financing for the Export Competitiveness Support Project and 80 million United States dollars for the Governance to Enable Service Delivery Project. The bills were subsequently approved by Parliament during Wednesday's sitting at the Parliament building in Lilongwe. Gift Kalonga was at Parliament has now come with the first story.
Speaking after tabling 2 bills, Mwanamveka said the approval of the 2 grant-funded projects is a major boost for the country's economy, noting that the funds will increase Malawi's foreign exchange reserves while supporting development programs. He described the grants as a sign of continued confidence from development partners and disclosed that more donor support will be announced in the near future. On concerns over accountability and transparency, Mwanamveka assured Parliament that both projects will be implemented under a performance-based financing system where funds will only be disbursed after measurable results have been achieved. He said implementation will be monitored through a performance dashboard to ensure transparency, accountability, and that communities benefit from projects delivered on the ground.
The Parliament has passed 2 bills. The first one is to do with supporting of the export sector through the Ministry of Business, Trade and Industry. That bill or that project is about 50 million US dollars coming from IDA, International Development Agency, which is part of the World Bank. That project is supporting exporters. They want to make sure that we capacitate, giving them the resources for them to be able to export. Both exporters and also SMEs that provide support to the exporters. It's 50 million. And in addition to that, we also have GSD2. This is governance to enable safe delivery, and that one is $80 million.
On his part, Malawi Congress Party Member of Parliament for Lilongwe Piriranjuzi, Peter Dimba, welcomed Parliament's approval of the $50 million grant, describing it as a significant step towards strengthening the country's export sector and addressing foreign exchange shortages.
Yes, this afternoon we passed two bills. The first bill was basically to do with financing agreement between International Development Association of World Bank for financing of about $50 million, which will be basically used in the export value chain. Basically, as a country, we are in a forex crisis. Our trade deficit is quite wide, and this will go a long way in trying to address the forex challenges.
Meanwhile, opposition party MCP has urged government to ensure the funds are allocated transparently and on merit, while improving the processing of export permits and streamlining export procedures to support businesses and increase export earnings. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Gift Kalonga.
The Malawi Economic Justice Network imagine has warned that Malawi's economy is at crossroads, urging government to move beyond policy formulation and focus on implementing existing economic strategies to restore economic growth and improve the livelihoods of citizens. Imagine Regional Coordinator Mike Marvin Banda made remarks as Malawi joins the rest of the world in commemorating the International Day for Socio-Economic Justice. Emmanuel Jocha has filed this report.
In an interview with Luntha television, Banda noted that the country's struggling economy has left many Malawians grappling with rising prices of basic commodities, persistent foreign exchange shortages, and other economic challenges. Banda stressed that government must begin translating policies into action while strengthening the fight against corruption, saying effective implementation of the development policies is critical to achieving the aspiration of Malawi 2063 agenda.
We are at crossroads in terms of our economic performance and the bearing on the local people. You will agree with me that currently we are not doing well in terms of our economic performances vis-a-vis the need to uplift the livelihood of our citizens.
Echoing Banda's sentiments, Meijin Center for Social Concern Economic Justice Program Officer Agnes Nyilongo said Malawi has sound policies in key sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and education, but noted that poor implementation continues to undermine the country's economic progress.
Considering how now the society is moving, even the economy, if you look at the agricultural import materials, they're very expensive. And these farmers, they are not making anything out of it, and most of them, they are making losses. And if we are not careful, if we look at this, Malawi can also go back to where we used to be, hunger-stricken nation.
The International Day for Socio-Economic Justice was proclaimed by United Nations General Assembly to promote awareness and actions on issues such as poverty, inequality, unemployment, social inclusion, and equal access to education, healthcare, and decent work. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Jocha.
At least 18 Irish potato farmers are said to benefit from the construction of the Jimbia Rural Growth Centre, a development aimed at improving access to structured and reliable markets. Minister of Local Government Ben Perry commissioned the project today, highlighting its importance in promoting rural economic growth and empowering farmers. Bridget Monoka reports.
Healy said the initiative is part of government's effort to reduce rural-urban migration by creating economic opportunities within communities in line with Malawi 2063 agenda. He also stressed the need to fight corruption in public projects, saying malpractice has contributed to delays and stalled developments in the past. The minister assured the public that projects under his ministry will be implemented transparently and completed within the set time frame.
Same time, we are providing a gate access to markets, better markets, markets that have got everything. You have heard we will have solar within here with refrigeration for purposes of preserving seeds and others. At the same time, we will accommodate so many traders within that market, and the government will be making money out of that.
Trade National Program Coordinator Dr. Barbara Ntabala said the project will support Irish potato farmers in Desert District who have been facing challenges, including limited access to improved seed and reliable markets.
And here in Desert, mainly we are promoting potatoes. We noted that the farmers here in Desert, they grow potatoes, but they lack sustainable seed. So as trade program, we came in to support our farmers to improve their production, but also to take this farming as a business.
The market, which will be constructed at a cost of 7.3 billion kwacha within 12 months, is expected to provide modern trading facilities, including storage and value addition services, helping farmers perceive and market their produce more efficiently. Similar modern markets will also be constructed in Lilongwe, Nkata Bay, Mzuzu, Chitipa, Cholo and Blantyre with funding from IFAD through the trade program. Bridget Mwanoka, Luntha News.
The Evangelical Association of Malawi EAM has urged women, young people and persons with disabilities to actively participate in the mining sector, saying their involvement is key to promoting inclusive economic growth. EAM Head of Programs Brian Mooka made the call at the start of a 3-day workshop in Lilongwe organized by the association through the National Resources Justice Network with funding from NCDCA and a project aimed at addressing inequalities in the extractive sector. Moses Magawa has filed a report read by Wangani Chira.
Speaking during the official opening, EAM Head of Programs, Bayam Looka, said empowering women and young people to take part in mining governance will help bridge existing policy and leadership gaps in the sector.
Women and youth, generally, they are excluded in most of the policy issues. And talking about mining, there are so many policies in mining the youth don't even know. If you're going to have any influence at all, then you need to have knowledge about what is happening. And so these are blank on issues of policies that are governing the mining industry in Malawi. And what we're saying is that these young people should know what is there for them, what is it that they need to push for. The future is in their hands.
President of the Malawi Women in Mining Association, Maoma, Ashley Simbey, said Malawi stands to benefit more from its mineral resources if women are given greater opportunities to participate in decision-making processes.
This training is really crucial for women because it has opened the platform for us to network with the organizers, but also other invited guests who are involved in the mining sector.
Representing NAYOM, Asante Juamina said although young people are often excluded from decisions affecting the mining industry, equipping them with the right knowledge and skills will enable them to contribute meaningfully to national development.
It's very beneficial because we'll be able to know what's happening in Malawi. We know the documents that we can use when we want to venture into mining activities, and also we will be able the technology that we gain, we'll be able to go and tell our fellow youth out there who are working in the mining sector. We are being used as tools because if you see, most of the people that are benefiting are people from outside foreign countries. If you find a youth in the mining sector, it's there to work on a minimum wage.
Meanwhile, participants have noted that despite Malawi's growing mining industry, the sector currently contributes only about 1% to the national budget, highlighting the need for stronger policies and greater investment to maximize its economic potential.
Education and economic experts have warned that rising internet data costs could undermine access to online learning, saying the increase risks excluding many university students from higher education at a time when public institutions are increasingly relying on virtual classes due to limited infrastructure. Speaking in separate interviews with Luntha television, education analyst Wesley Mwambakulu said online learning was introduced to widen access to higher education despite shortages of classrooms and other learning facilities, but warned that high internet costs could prevent many vulnerable students from benefiting from the system. Constance Kantemeni reports.
Mwambakulu said while online learning has helped universities accommodate growing student enrollment, many students from low-income families are struggling to afford internet bundles and digital devices needed to participate in virtual classes. He added that unless internet costs become more affordable, the country risks denying many deserving students equal access to higher education despite efforts to expand learning opportunities.
Online learning, in order to provide that flexibility for those students who want to pursue further education, as well as to at least reach out.
Meanwhile, economic expert Felix Lombe says the higher cost of internet bundles is likely to make it even harder for university students to access virtual classes, download learning materials, and conduct research, especially those living off campus and relying on personal internet connections.
Many students didn't have that opportunity to really download some of the learning materials whenever they are off campus.
The concerns come as public universities continue expanding the use of online learning to accommodate rising student enrollment amid limited classroom space, with experts calling for affordable internet to ensure digital learning remains accessible to all students.
UTM Publicity Secretary Felix Njawala has pledged the party's commitment towards economically empowering Malawians whilst also complementing government efforts to address unemployment. Njawala made the remarks during the donation of a 3.8 million kwacha motorcycle to one of its members, Maliko Kalembera, a gesture aimed at promoting self-employment and improving livelihoods. Patrick Pupa with the details.
Speaking during the handover ceremony held in Area 3 Lilongwe, Njawala said the motorcycle was purchased using contributions from the party members. He said the party believes that supporting members with income-generating opportunities is one way of creating jobs and improving the welfare of communities. He has since encouraged other members to embrace similar initiatives that promote self-reliance and economic empowerment.
Loyalty. We all support political institutions, but Mr. Kalembera has given us a different perspective altogether. He bought his own bicycle and he used his own money to put signage on the bicycle. When applying his Gabaza business, he was putting on UTM attire, meaning to say that he has the party in his heart.
After receiving the motorcycle, Maliko Kalembera expressed gratitude to the UTM party for the support, describing the donation as a timely and life-changing.
The motorcycle will help me to start a business and improve my family livelihoods, I have to thank the UTM party and its members for recognizing support and introducing this initiative that directly benefits its members. I pledge to make good use of the motorcycle.
Kalembera has been wearing UTM party regalia while carrying out his business since 2018, demonstrating his commitment and loyalty to the party. In addition to the motorcycle, the party also bought him a smartphone and paid for his motorcycle riding lessons using the funds contributed by its members. For Luntha News, this is Patrick Pupa.
Irish Development Agency Trachea says it is impressed with the work being carried out by its partner organizations in Malawi, describing their projects as positively transforming communities. Trachea Programs Manager Chris Conley said this on Tuesday during the visit to some of the projects of its partners in Baraka District. Andrew Nandolo has found this report.
Speaking on Tuesday during a tour of projects in the areas of Senior Chief Chantunya and Traditional Authority Palula in Baraka District, Troca Programs Manager Chris Conley said the progress made by beneficiaries demonstrates that the organization's partners are effectively implementing development interventions.
The visit has been very inspirational. The communities that we're working with here have really taken the initial concepts and ideas and worked to expand and to increase their own food security as well as their livelihood incomes. It's a credit to Catacomb Mangochi, who've been the technical partner in implementing this project, as well as to the community leaders and the community members who've taken the project forward. I've been really impressed with their demonstration plots, trialing different approaches to fertilizer, comparing chemical fertilizer with the use of liquid urine or granulated urine and showcasing the benefits of each, as well as the use of crop diversification and different planting techniques to be more adapted to the climate change context.
Baraka District Council Community Development Officer Beatrice Ndawala commended the non-governmental organizations for complementing the council's development efforts, saying their interventions are improving the livelihoods of communities across the district.
What I've noted and what I've seen is that they are in line with the problems that the district council identified that they need to be addressed in this district. So these organizations are adding up to what the district efforts are, what the district is doing in order to end issues to do with violence, gender-based violence, as well as improving the livelihoods of people in the communities.
Speaking to Luntha Television, Kadikomu Mangochi, one of the organizations supported by Troca, expressed the confidence that beneficiaries of the projects will become self-reliant through improved food security and enhanced economic opportunities.
There are some interventions that we are promoting that the benefits do trickle. It's not that you can see the benefits maybe within a short period of time. For example, the ones that are doing beekeeping, definitely you cannot expect to see the maximum benefits within 1 year. The ones that are doing agroforestry, the benefits come little by little. So we're expecting that since this is the 4th year, by the time we reach the 5th year, the final year of the project, the benefits will be more than they have realized now, and they will be able to appreciate the importance of those interventions.
Organizations invited during the tour, including Kadecom, Forces, UNECO, and Coral, among others. Reporting from Baraka, this is Andrew Nandolo.
In sports, the Malawi national women's football team, the Scouters, have made a dream start to their debut Women's Africa Cup of Nations AFCON campaign after defeating defending champions Nigeria 3-2 on July 28, 2006 in Morocco. A brace from Motemu Jawinga and a goal from Tabitha Jawinga secured a memorable victory for the Scouters in their opening match of the tournament. Speaking in a post-match interview, head coach Love Mofazili praised his players for their commitment, determination and fighting spirit throughout the match. The Scouters will return to action on Saturday, August 1st when they take on Egypt in their second Group C fixture. Fazili explains.
The game was very good. Excellent game for that matter. Players played very, very good performance. They put everything. They have shown that they are capable of delivering. And from me, I'm a very, very happy person according to the performance itself. And why they have played very well. They did not relate themselves because they knew there is something which they're supposed, I think, to show to Malawians. They're supposed to give to Malawians. So the only thing that we would have done, what I've done today, was to win this game. But the battle is still on. We're still fighting. We have to.
And in news from across the borders, authorities in Uganda have declared the East African nation free of Ebola following the discharge of the country's last patient in mid-June, marking a significant milestone as the virus continues to spread in neighboring Congo. A total of 20 cases were confirmed in the country since May 15th, when neighboring DR Congo announced an outbreak of the disease. We have an African news reporter read in our studios by Tandiwe Mzomara.
It's now been 42 days since the last patient was discharged, the period recommended by the World Health Organization to declare the country Ebola-free. Kampala has maintained since the outset that its cases were all linked to the outbreak in the DRC's Eastern Ituri province, which borders Uganda. And the first patients had entered the country from Congo before knowing they were infected. Authorities acted quickly to prevent further transmission, cancelling large events, telling people to stop shaking hands, and suspending public transportation and flights between Uganda and Congo. All non-contacts with infected patients have been quarantined and subject to a 21-day follow-up without further evidence of transmission, according to Uganda's health ministry. The picture is very different in the DRC, where the virus continues to spread. More than 3,000 cases have been confirmed, including some 1,400 deaths.
That African News report read by Tandiwe Mzomara also brings us to the end of our today's bulletin, but let's have a recap of the top stories before we go. Poplio XIV urges communicators to use technology in service of truth and the common good. Parliament approves a 130 million United States dollars grant projects to boost exports and service delivery. Malawi Economic Justice Network urges government to move beyond the policy formulation and focus on effective implementation to accelerate economic recovery. And in news from across the borders, Uganda declared officially Ebola-free 42 days after last patient discharge. We now give you the latest weather update with Tapiwa Kuramoto.
Good evening, and it's time for weather forecast. Cold to very cold conditions were experienced over most areas last night and today in the morning hours, with Kadere Forest in Lilongwe reporting the coldest at 4 degrees Celsius, followed by Lintibe in Leta, which reported 5 degrees Celsius. It was also very cold over some areas such as Mulanje Mountain, which reported 6 degrees Celsius and 7 degrees Celsius over Nika in Rumpi. We are currently expecting clear skies to few clouds over most areas, accompanied by cold temperatures over most areas at night and during morning hours, while warm conditions are expected tomorrow in the afternoon. We should also expect occasional mwela winds to continue blowing over our lake water bodies such as Lake Malawi and Lake Chirwa. Hence, we are still advising all lake users, including fishermen, to continue being very observant. This is all due to the influence of an incoming high pressure system, which is still pumping in fairly moist southeasterlies into the country, influencing all these conditions. This is also why tonight few clouds are expected in some areas over the south, while generally clear skies will be persisting over the central and the northern part of the country, accompanied by cold to very cold temperatures. Similarly, tomorrow in the morning hours, we should expect few clouds over the southern part of the country, but generally clear skies will be persisting over most areas along the lakeshore as well as the northern part of the country. Temperatures are also expected to remain cold to very cold tomorrow in the morning hours over the central in areas such as Lilongwe and Dedza, which are being forecasted at 11 degrees Celsius, while generally cool conditions are expected over most areas along the lakeshore, such as Monkey Bay and Mangochi. Looking into the afternoon hours, we should also expect clear skies to persist in some areas over the south as well as the central, while partly cloudy conditions are expected over most areas in the north as well as the lakeshore areas. Temperatures will also remain hot tomorrow in the afternoon over few areas such as Ngabu and Isanje, which are being forecasted at 30 degrees Celsius, but generally mild to warm conditions are expected over the south, the central, as well as the northern part of the country. Looking into Friday, we should expect sunny conditions over most areas in the south, the central, as well as the northern part of the country, accompanied by cold to very cold temperatures at night and during morning hours, while warm conditions are expected in the afternoon. I'm Tebua Kutakumutu. Be wise, be weatherwise.
You have been with me, Charity Jalanga. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Have a good night.